morning. Thank you for coming. Today I will talk about big data security. It's a job I was doing the last year. First of all, I want to explain about my slides. You can scan this QR or visit this website, and you will see in your mobile phone or my slides. And also you can answer some questions during the presentation. I'm Carlos Gomez. I'm father of a 5-year-old child, and this is the most important thing in my life. I'm working right now at Stratio. I'm technical leader in the architecture and security team, and also I'm sailing skipper in my free time. I love sailing the seas. If you scan the QR, I come back. You can answer these kind of questions, and you can see in real time here what's the poll, the answers of the poll. So the question is, in your opinion, how difficult is to manage security in your projects? Okay. So I come here to try to explain that it's not so very difficult to manage security. You work well and make things transparent. The users can manage these kind of hard things easily. So in Stratio, we detected that usually the companies have this kind of projects or infrastructure, and all these kind of things wants to do the same things. Data governance, log centralization, monitoring, data security, and audit. And a lot of times these kind of things are managed independently in one project or in another. So this is very, very hard to manage and very expensive. So the user or the company wants data governance, wants log centralization, wants monitoring, wants security, wants audit, data security, and also they want to exploit all of this data that is generated in the operation of a project. So it seems like all the people want the same thing, and they never succeed in their projects, because all the things are distributed in the company. So what if we put all the projects in the same box? We manage all these kind of projects in the same box. And also, we put the rabbit in the jail, so the rabbit will be us all the time. So how can we achieve that? So in Stratio, we understand the security in 2 columns. The first is protect the data, and the second one is protect the service. Protect the data is protect our business data. And the service is our infrastructure, and the data is generated in this infrastructure also. So to protect both things, we think we first need perimeter security, to maintain a box and perform a data-centric projects. So then when we are inside a box, we need to identify the people and applications are coming to our project. We also need to authorize this kind of access. also the data and the infrastructure. Also, we need to audit this access and maintain a trace what is happening and when happened. And also, we need to protect the network, and we need to protect the data where the data is flying around the network. So we need to encrypt and cipher the communications, and also encrypt and cipher the data. So in our Datacentric suite, we work with all these technologies, and this is the technologies are supporting our platform. And we make use of some of them to perform the security and to perform the things we want to do with the operation. To perform the authentication and authorization, also the audit, we make use of Kerberos and Auth2 to perform the authentication. To perform the authorization, we did an authorization platform, you will see next. And to audit, we storage all these audit events in a event stream. So all these kind of things are centralized and managed by a third party, a trusted third party. Also, we want, as I said, we want to identify people and cipher communications and data. So we need a storage box, a security storage box. To do these kind of things, we use Vault from HashiCorp. Also, we need to process the data. So we use Spark as the data processor, and we need to make Spark secure when it manages the data and when it accesses the data. And also in our platform, we need to isolate the resources and isolate the projects. So with Mesos, Marathon, and Calico, we can make these kind of isolations, the network isolation and the resource isolation. So what we are doing in Stratio, in the security team, we was focused to accomplish LOPD, Spanish LOPD. Right now, we are focusing in the GDPR from the future, next April. And to accomplish these kind of things and to know we are doing the things well, we perform security tests every release. So, and we are guided by the OWASP framework, security framework. And to audit the data and the data stores, we perform some security tests that we define to be sure the data is protected. When we perform this kind of tests, we write a report explaining what we did, how we did it, and what we found. And also how we can solve this issue and when, and if we can perform a workaround or similar thing to stay in production environments. I will explain now how we solved the things I was talking about perimeter security and identity management and the things I was explaining. Our platform is the infrastructure that is supporting our platform is deployed with a physical network isolation with VLANs or security groups if it's an infrastructure as a service. We did three distinctions in the networks. We have a public network, an admin network, and a private network. The private network is where our data stores live and our process live. The admin network is where security and operators from our platform access and manage the cluster. The public network is where the services are exposed. So we have some routers that expose our service dynamically. The service is running in the private network, and dynamically it can be exposed and to access this kind of data. The data you want to expose, or the APIs, if it's a microservice or something like that. How we can accomplish this? With using mesos and mesos roles and their resources. And dynamically, you can be exposed in the admin router or in the public network by writing labels in your descriptors in Marathon or also in Mesos. To perform authentication, authorization, and audit, we make use of OAuth 2, Kerberos or TLS, mutual TLS, if it is needed. We prefer Kerberos, but in some cases it's necessary to accomplish with other technologies like TLS. The authorization, the REST or web authorization, we are doing it with OAuth 2. The data is always managed by Gaussian management, that is a structure product to protect the authorization in the data stores. And also, as I said, to audit the data, we are the Gaussian management plugins are writing the events in a data store or in Kafka. So what is a plugin? As we don't want to maintain all data stores in our Datacentric suite, we write authorization plugins to override the authorization in the data store. So it's transparent to the data store, and we can do what we need in this kind of plugins. So we can read from these plugins. We can read the ACLs from a centralized place, and we can perform the audit. And also we can identify the user and get the groups or the identity of these users. Right now we have plugins to the data stores that we can see here: CrossData, Sparta, Zookeeper, ADF, Kafka, and Elasticsearch. As I said, to manage the secrets, it's a best practice to save them in a box, in a box of secrets. And they will be stored and ciphered and secured, and the clients can access only the secrets they need. They are not shared by the operators or in the hosts. For this purpose, we make use of HashiCorp Vault, but there is a problem when you store all your secrets in a box. You need a secret to access the box. And how you will manage these secrets? So we think, as we saw in the community and the history of the security most of the time is a best practice to release or delegate to a third party. So we start to write plugins and a plugin to generate and delegate the first secret to someone. So in this situation, we can create a one-time secret, and when you deploy the application, the application can log in your box with a secret that is useful only for one time, and also get its secrets. And as you can control the one-time secret, you can also perform authorization from this login. because you have identified the application. And the application only will access the secrets and know the secrets from others. This is very bad. So what's happening is someone take your login, your first secret. They will go to the box and it can access the box and it can take the secrets. But when the application wants to take the secret, it cannot take the secrets because it cannot log in. So they can alert to the administration, hey, something bad succeeds, so I cannot get my secrets, take the actions. As I said, Spark is our data processing engine, and we are developing Spark and to perform some security when we make use of the data. So the first thing we did in Spark was to integrate with our bots, with our key management system, and then we started to connect it to our secure data stores with a Kubernetes HDFS, with PostgreSQL, with TLS, with Elasticsearch, and also with Kafka. So right now, our Spark compilation is enabled to access all these data store securizes. So a use case, how you can protect the data transparently to your users. So it will be easy to manage this. And administration will log in the admin router, and it will deploy all the secrets and will configure the identities. In this case, Tableau and cross-data and HDFS needs. Also, it will configure the authorization to the access of the data. Once the client requests some data from outside through the public network, the application that is running in the Datacentric suite will get the secret it needs, will authorize the client, and will identify himself to the data store and get the data. Also, it will be audited. So the administration is the only man who manages this kind of security. The developer who write the application don't need to know where are the secrets or which are the secrets it needs. All is managed by the security administration. Also, we need to protect our resources. So to protect them, we need to isolate our resources, and we did with Mesos and Docker. We can also take the agents and perform some authorization in the agents to manage the security in them and reserve all the resources to an application. In the example here is Postgres. I was talking about network isolation, but what about if we can do the same thing with our platform instead of our infrastructure? To accomplish this, we are using Calico because we can manage the topologies of our networks inside our platform. We can manage the policies that we want to configure. Like, I want this network can talk with this other network in this port, things like that. Also, we want to be enabled to run Mesos containers, Docker containers, or the technology we are supporting. Also, the other technologies we saw are impacting in the performance of the network. So with this solution, we are not impacted. Also, we want applications to be authorized in which network is accessing. So we can do it with Mesos and Calico. So with this solution, the applications are isolated into networks, and the IP addresses from the networks, I don't know if you know Mesos, but usually you have to share the IP address and ports from the host and from the other applications. So this is another time the architecture we have. We have the masters, the agents, the Mesos agents, and also the Mesos agents that are running as public. So when you can start to perform or configure some networks and isolate your containers in different networks and apply policies to them. And also, you can integrate this technology with your infrastructure that is living in your company, like your OpenLDA or your data stores. So how can manage these kind of things? Also, an administration starts to configure the resources, then configure the network and the isolation it wants to do. For example, we deny in network 2, we create a network, and we want to deny the access from one of the frameworks. And when the users in your Datacentric suite users run this kind of the frameworks, they are isolated. The frameworks are isolated, so the resources of your platform are isolated, and also the network are isolated, and they cannot perform the things you don't want. And we started to think, what can we do with also? What can we do one step more and with this kind of technologies? So one of our clients comes to us and said, "Oh, but I want 2 data centers. So with these technologies and applying the security, we can accomplish that." So this is a client from us that come and said, "I want to do these kind of things in production, and we are doing it." Tomorrow, we can explain this in more detail. So thank you. You can also come to our stand and experience with what we did for you. Many things. So if you have some questions. No? Thank you very much.